The book starts in room 8 of a rather, not exactly seedy, but not brilliant small hotel in Earl's Court, where my two protagonists, 17 years old, have very boldly gone for 3 nights of enjoyment. The idea for the book, I suppose, was sparked off by a couple of relatives, both of whom were childhood sweethearts with different boys, failed to marry the right boy, married somebody else, and eventually met and found each other at a school reunion. I have no idea how often that happens, but it just seemed to me to be quite a good basis for a book. And of course, in the case of a novel, you don't know whether they're going to spark anything off at the school reunion or whether they realise that thinking of each other for 25 years had been a bit of a dream. I don't really know quite how I get an idea for a book, but very often it is just simply a question of the time span. I suddenly think I would like to write a book that all takes place in one weekend, or I'd like to write a book that spans a person's lifetime, or in the case of one of my books, a century. That's often a starting point. And then otherwise suddenly an idea will come into my head. I don't think it's actually a character. I think the characters do come later, and creating the characters is, I think, the hardest part. I don't usually create people from life, so I'm making up all these people, and they sometimes refuse to spring to life, and then suddenly they're there with me in the room, and I know that I've got them. I do tend to be a little bit sentimental in my writing at times, because my characters do become friends, and I sort of think, well, you know, after breakfast I'd rather like to meet some rather nice people in that study of mine and not go up and meet a lot of rotters. But occasionally I grit my teeth and create a few people who are not very nice to be with. One has to do that, I think. I tend not to be too sure of certain of the details. In fact, I found with this particular book I would write probably a scene a day. And very often I would come downstairs for lunch and say to my wife Susan, I'm really surprised by what happened today. It wasn't at all what I expected. So I know sort of where I'm going in a general sense, but quite a lot of things, sometimes much sadder than I expect, creep into the comedy. I wanted to be a writer from the age of about 10 or 11 when I wrote my first titles for books, which were all about badgers. And they were all really based on Biggles, so there was Badger Flies East, Badger Flies West, Badger Flies North, Badger Flies South, etc. I never wrote the books, probably would have been sensational bestsellers and sell far more than anything I actually have written. Well, obviously I would like people to think they've enjoyed the book. I would like them to feel not let down at the end. I would like them to feel that there was something to grasp in the book, something more than appears on the surface because it's a comedy. And in this book in particular, I think there is quite a serious theme, and I hope that they will enjoy that and respond to it.